How you going? So good to see you. Don't hug me. Where's the server out? Do I want a coffee? Oh, God, no. I'll have a flat white. Wait, do I have an accent? No. Byron, bye. You don't know about long flights until you've flown to Sri. I was in the air for 36 hours, on the ground for 7, back in the air. I made sure to stay out of all the touristy areas, so we started off at Bondi Beach. Oh, it was cracking. Gold Coast living. This swimsuit is fused to my body. Yeah. What do you mean I have to wear shoes here? North America and its regime. Fine, I'll go put on my thongs.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, from North Carolina, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby. Hey-o, this guy is ready to check in for a good, 25-30 minutes off the bench?
They need to back up big in Chicago. So I'm heading out to Toronto as soon as the show's over here. Catch me tonight. I'll be still on playback.
Yes,
from the bench.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
on your phone.
cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And last but not least, over yonder, it is The Apprentice. It's Eshua Kid. Ah, yes. The Hawks fan, Esh, picking up a big dub last night. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live right now on YouTube. Like the vid, comment away, sub around, and find out. Get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs. We got a whole lot to get into on today's podcast here. We got to talk about last night's crazy play-in games. We'll look ahead to tonight's play-in games. We've got 2 more playoff series to predict. When we move over to the Eastern Conference, we'll do a little Sixers-Nets, and we'll do a little Cavs-Knicks. But we also had a wedgie. Wedgie number 53, our first from the play-in tournament. Anthony Davis with the block on Cat there that gave us the wedgie. Harlan screaming out, "Wedge!" And then he just stopped, and it went silent for a couple seconds. But hey, we'll take it. Just because it happened in the play-in, not like stats that just disappear. They're all a mirage. We count them. So that's 53. And we are still looking for, 6 more to set the all-time record?
Yeah,
Okay.
58 is the current record.
Okay.
So, yes. Do you think Harlan maybe had an inside joke with Reggie Miller about saying Wedgie Miller or something and then stopped midway, didn't commit to the bit?
Something happened. Because it's almost like they were laughing.
Maybe something happened. Technically, maybe there was a broadcast problem where their mics cut out. Mid-wedgie. He said wedge, and their mics cut out.
I don't know.
We can't say that.
Jim Jackson honestly talked that wedgie into existence in the game prior. He just out of nowhere brought up wedgies after the spillage that happened in that game that Eagle was talking about. And then Jim Jackson just wanted to talk wedgies. So let's give that one to Jim there about wedgie number 53. Okay.
Jim.
Let's get into the games. We will start with the second game of the doubleheader last night on TNT. The Lakers outlast the Wolves 108-102 in overtime. They advance to face the Memphis Grizzlies in the 2-7 matchup. We'll talk about that series on tomorrow's podcast. But, oh boy, an ugly win.
What a game.
What a wild game. LeBron with 30, 10, and 6, though, man, he had some boneheaded plays. Anthony Davis, 24, 15, and 3 blocks. The Wolves were leading most of this game, but then managed to only score 7 points in the final 11 minutes of action. And it did feel like like both of these teams were like, no, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's one of those, hey, did the Lakers win it or did the Wolves lose it? Oh, you better believe the Wolves lost this thing. That was theirs to take, especially without Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid. And Jaden McDaniels, the fact that they're up 16 points into the fourth quarter, they basically scored 9 points in the fourth quarter, other than the 3 free throws that Anthony Davis gifted to them. Throughout the entire fourth quarter, a team with Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards were sort of freewheeling it. I think Chris Finch likes playing that way. The head coach of the Timberwolves just says, all right, go out there and do it. I think they needed some more play calls. And also Karl Anthony Towns to give him an excuse. He got goaded into his 4th and 5th foul and wasn't playing all that strongly throughout the fourth quarter and overtime. He was the guy who was scoring. Between him and Anthony Edwards, there's just no way you can allow 9 points essentially throughout the entire fourth quarter to happen. He only had 2 shots in the fourth and overtime, and Anthony Edwards couldn't hit the side of a barn.
He picked the wrong night to have his maybe worst offensive game of his career.
Yeah,
3 of 17.
3 of 17. But look at it this way, though. It's weird because he's 0 for 9 from 3, but 3 of 8 from 2 in this
Almost
game.
50%.
Well, yeah, one was a wide open layup that the Lakers gifted him with 20 seconds ago, and the one was a fast break dunk, which was okay. But this was bad.
It was bad. The last 6 minutes of regulation, they didn't have a field goal. They had Michael Conley's 3 free throws. The last 6 minutes of regulation, the Timberwolves didn't hit a bucket, and Cat had to be utilized a little bit more. And again, his aggressiveness, I think, was muted because of the foul trouble, which should have. He had 5 fouls. I mean, fouling on a rebound like that, should it be called? It's a foul, but still. Anyway, they needed to find a way to get a bucket. That's all.
And they had so many chances even still.
Yes. Yeah. They went into LA and they didn't finish the job, really.
Yeah, I mean, the Timberwolves played perfectly, I thought, through the first 3 quarters. And then, like you're saying, Towns started picking up fouls, and he basically fouled himself out of the game. He didn't ever get to the 6th foul, but he played like he couldn't pick up a 6th foul because he really couldn't. They needed him inside. The Lakers took advantage of no Rudy Gobert, no backup big in Naz Reid as well. They had 54 points in the paint as anticipated. But, the game was there for the Timberwolves to win if Edwards has anything like a regular Edwards game, because they got a great performance from Mike Conley, got an incredible performance, I thought, from Kyle Anderson. He really stepped up and played pretty well. But Edwards just could not get it going, and I'm sure part of it was when he went head over heels and landed on his shoulder. He came back out with so much tape on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Surely that was affecting him, but he just couldn't do anything. He was looking like Ben Simmons out there, the way he wasn't attacking and getting to the hoop. Even in overtime, they get that crazy steal. He should have dunked it. He should have dunked it with about 11 seconds left. It ended up being a kick out to Taurean Prince from the corner. Also played a really good game, got a good shot, missed it. But Edwards should have dunked it. It would have been a 1-point game with 11 seconds left. Then you can play the foul game going on from there. Yeah. But he obviously didn't have confidence in anything offensively last night.
Yeah, or even maybe give it to the guy who's on fire in the other corner. Because Conley had the steal, gave it to Edwards. Then they run to the corners, like Prince goes to the left, Conley goes to the right, and Edwards decides, sort of blinders on, only sees Prince. But Conley you saw Conley react to after the miss, and then they had the foul. He's like, man, I'm the one guy that can hit shots right now. Yes. Give it to me, man. So, yeah, just a brutal game from Ant, and they were still in it. I mean, as we said, Prince had a chance to tie it. Obviously, they're gifted the free throws at the end. Anthony Davis, what are you doing? Oh, my God. Backing up to him as he's just watching the shot go up and just, undercutting him with his back to him. And it was a foul. I mean, he obviously sort of got under him. And then, kudos to Conley for hitting all 3 there. That first one was iffy, bouncing in, but
Front
the
rim.
next 2, yeah.
I love how LeBron called it a brain fart in the post-game interview. I like how brain fart is just part of the lexicon. It was a huge fart, huge gassy fart. How do you do that?
That's me waking up every morning. That's how big of a brain fart that one was. But I don't know. I thought AD was a weird game. He put up an incredible line. I think once Towns got into foul trouble, Davis sensed that the game had turned right then and there, because he really came alive in the fourth quarter and completely took Towns out of the game offensively for the Wolves. Because, man, Towns had such a good first 3 quarters, too. Creating for others. He threw that pass in the lane, behind his head.
My God,
who was that to? Prince, I think, for the layup. An incredible pass. Then he did the exact same pass a little bit later, which I thought was hilarious. It's it was cool the first time. Watch it again. Yeah. But then, once the fouls ticked up, that's the issue with Karl Anthony Towns. He's got to figure out how to play with fouls because he always picks them up.
Yeah.
So.
And what did you think about those, specifically those 4th and 5th fouls, especially the one maybe where AD flopped a little bit on fighting for the offensive rebound, but Towns grabbing him? What was your take on that? And the whistle in general, where the Lakers went to the line a whole lot more.
Yeah, those were the 2 whistles. That bump with Anthony Davis that really changed the game, and the one with LeBron where LeBron goated him. The Anthony Davis one, if he doesn't fall, is not called, and it's going up for a rebound. It happens every possession. almost. Like the bumping, the physicality of it. The fact that he falls got him the whistle.
I thought he got caught ball watching, Kat, on that shot because AD hustled to try and box him out. When he goes around him, then, Karl Anthony Towns sort of instinctively grabs up top. And then, yes, did AD embellish? Did he just slip? Whatever. That's why the foul was called.
Yeah,
it was happened early in the rebound because AD actually just had a little more left in the tank. I think Kat also did tire, too. I mean, this is a guy that missed a chunk of time. So maybe his conditioning wasn't all there. And as the game went on and the fouls maybe in his head a little bit, he got worse and worse.
He played over 40 minutes like every Timberwolf did in the starting lineup. I can't make that an excuse for them because I thought the officials, they did all right. They called Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter for a travel when he had the ball up near the free throw line. They called a moving screen in overtime on Rui Hachimura. You're using your whistle properly. I mean, you're recalling the things that are happening. You're calling Anthony Davis shuffling his feet. So I can't put it on them. The fact that Karl Anthony Towns he was brought back into this game with 5 fouls, and the aggression was absolutely gone, zilch, zero. I mean, that's on him. I don't think you can put this on the officials. It's just miraculous. We've talked about Taurean Prince having a good game coming into the starting lineup for Jane McDaniels. Kyle Anderson was playing the backup 5, and they were out rebounded by, I guess it was 11 when it comes down to it, because they didn't have Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert. But yeah, he was doing everything he can. 4 steals and 4 blocks. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was awesome off the bench. Mike Conley played so freaking well. And Karl Anthony Towns was really, really good, going 24 of 11 and fell off, and they lose this game. I was just shocked. I mean, that's what it really comes down. They played so freaking well, and they need a little more offense from. Yeah, I don't know if Anthony Edwards' shoulder was hurting him that much, but he feels like the guy that would at least, fight through it in terms of his drives. Like there should have just been more drives to the rim.
Besides Anthony Davis, who you already gave a little love, and LeBron with a good line, though he did have some careless turnovers, even on the inbounds play there at the end. It was like, ooh, just sort of served it up to the Wolves there.
LeBron was terrible.
Yeah, I know.
It's like not even pressure turnovers, just throwing it straight to the Timberwolves. That was very weird to see from LeBron, but of course, guys played so long, everything feels like a full circle moment, down to the fact that 2 times on the final play to Schroeder, that was the Donyell Marshall play once again. You got to be an old head to remember that one. Oh, LeBron passing on the final play. Can you believe it? And then also, it coming down to the final play in a play-in game. LeBron did that in a play-in game a few seasons ago, aiming for the middle basket against the Warriors. Time is a flat circle. LeBron, man.
I will say, I thought for the Lakers side of things, in addition to their stars there in AD and LeBron, Dennis Schroeder, what a game from him. 21 points. Great. He hits the tie-breaking three-pointer in the corner from that pass from LeBron with 1.5 to go. And he just stepped up for a guy who played like garbage in D'Angelo Russell. I mean, it's not going to be remembered, but he had a nightmare game. He was 1 for 9. He had 2 points. He did have 8 assists, but kudos to Ham for just benching him, basically. I know he was in there for 1 possession near the end, but he didn't play a big chunk of that fourth quarter.
Schroeder was their guard.
Yeah, and he stepped up, obviously hitting that shot and giving them some little energy. I thought even Ham found a very switchy defensive lineup there when it was AD, Rui, LeBron, Reeves, and Schroeder. They could just switch everything, and the Wolves had nothing to run. I mean, that's the other part of this. It's what it was their shot selection. Again, credit to Lakers defense, but it was bad. That looked we talked about the play-in giving us a little March Madness. That's what that game felt like.
100%.
Dumb turnovers, totally. Some weird whistles. Just that felt like a March Madness game, like a college basketball game.
Yeah, totally. And, shout out to Darvin Ham, I think, going away from D'Angelo Russell when he wasn't playing very well. Used him as a decoy eventually later. And, at least Russell was passing the ball, but he got outplayed by Mike Conley, I thought, in this matchup. And also shout out to Ham for going away from Jared Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was pretty solid defensively early on Edwards, but once Edwards slowed down, you kind of knew maybe you didn't necessarily need the defense out there, and Vanderbilt was taken away from the Lakers offensively, just not needing to be guarded at all. And Hachimura didn't do much better, I didn't think, but he made some plays, which was enough for the Lakers.
Yeah, Mike Conley, although he had an incredible game, I wanted to see a little bit more calling of plays in the fourth quarter, running the show a little bit more. It's not really what he does with the Wolves. He kind of plays off ball, and Anthony Edwards runs the show.
But on a night where you have it going and your other guy has nothing, he probably should have been involved a lot more.
Yeah, just force it a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, because he was cash. What a game from Mike Conley.
Any other notes from, honestly, an insane play-in game?
I mean, a lot of people are talking up the Lakers as a championship contender.
Oh, my gosh.
How can you possibly think that if you watch this game? They are still easily beatable from behind the arc. And the Timberwolves were doing it through the first 3 quarters of this game. So, to me, if you were thinking that the Lakers are going to be the first team to go through the play-in tournament, go all the way to the NBA Finals, you got to think that a little bit less after watching last night. I mean, you're not going to get that weird of a fourth quarter from LeBron, probably again in the playoffs, but the Lakers are a mid team. Like, there's a reason they are in the play-in tournament, even though they finished strong this season.
Yeah, I think the people who are saying that the Lakers could just go through the Western Conference, even calling them the favorites in the Western Conference, just aren't watching the games. They're just looking at the names. Mm-hmm. They're looking at AD and LeBron. Yeah, they can turn it on. They can do it. I think that's what it comes down to. Because against this Wolves team where they had a really good advantage, the Lakers should play big and were bigger than this Wolves team. And yeah, they out-rebounded them. And yeah, they destroyed them in the points in the paint battle. And yeah, they had 12 offensive boards. And this was without Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid. Are they going to be able to do that night in and night out? Are they going to win the free throw battle? They generally do win the free throw battle. Are they going to do that night in and night out? It was just 9 in this one. Should have been a heck of a lot more, really, in terms of the free throw discrepancy. So, yeah, that I agree. They don't look. I mean, it's one game, but still. I don't think they're going to get better as the playoffs go on. I don't think these old guys are going to get better.
It's going to be wild because their best bet to either beat the Grizzlies or to go far in the playoffs is 4 out of 7 times they're going to have LeBron going for 25 or 30, AD probably going for 25 or 30, and then it's like the who's going to step up on this night? Is it going to be Schroeder like it was last night? Is it going to be a Beasley game where he catches fire? Will it be a D'Angelo Russell game, obviously, where he's on? He's a streaky player.
Or Austin Reeves.
Or Austin Reeves, exactly.
Struggled a bit.
Or possibly Rui. It's like it's going to be just like who the hell on that night is going to be the one to contribute. But, defensively, that will keep them in games. They play hard, and they have all these switchable guys, and you've got AD there manning in the middle. Mm-hmm. So good win on that end, but what a strange game, especially when it gets into like 1 o'clock Eastern and you're going to overtime in a game that no one wants to win, where it felt like it was going to double overtime for a second. Obviously, where Prince has a very, very good luck. Nuts. All right, let's go to the first game on TNT last night. The Hawks hold off the Heat 116-105. They will advance to face Boston. We'll get into that 2-7 matchup also on tomorrow's podcast. But wow, what a win from Atlanta. Sam Quinn of CBS called it, Shaq of TNT called it, and Tess Mellis of No Dunks. The only 3 people in the world to take the Atlanta Hawks last night. And holy crap, Tess. That was one of the best games they've played all season long.
They were really good. Trae Young doing a great job of not making it about him.
Yeah, I didn't force it.
DeJounte Murray was awesome. It was a question mark when they made this trade to me. What exactly is DeJounte Murray going to do? Well, he's going to do what he does best, and that's just get into the lane and be ultra confident. They're just such different players, him and Trae Young, and he got into the lane and was taking what the Heat gave him and shooting over top, but even the three-point shooting for DeJounte Murray was there. Just what kind of flow? What buttons has Quinn Snyder pressed with this team? I mean, they going from the guys coming off the bench and playing their roles perfectly. John Collins, fine not shooting the ball, and Clint Capella, fine not shooting the ball, just blocking the snot out of people, and Yekan Kongu blocking the snot out of people. Everybody just playing their role ridiculously well. What's in the water, Quinn?
Pollen.
There's quite a lot of pollen around here. Just an incredible performance. They kicked their ass. And obviously the Heat were coming back in the third quarter. Tyler Hero found his flow, which was nice to see because they were absolutely going at him to start the game. Give the ball to DeAndre Hunter. Go at Tyler Hero. But then Eric Spoelstra said, well, we can play that game. Let's go at Trae Young. Right. Over and over and over again. And Tyler Hero found his flow. But unlike the Wolves, they were able to take those blows from the Miami Heat, and they just kept coming with Jalen Johnson.
Every time it looked like the Heat were like, here they go. They're going to take control of this game, get to 5 or 6 points. Every time the Hawks would have an answer. And usually it was missing a shot, grabbing an offensive rebound, and scoring off of that.
That's what it was.
It was nuts.
Yeah, Clint Capella looked like the 8th grader with the mustache out there. He was like the biggest, baddest dude, and that was completely the difference in the game. He had 8 offensive rebounds. The Heat had 6. And I don't know. I tweeted it last night. Anybody ever say rebounding is contagious? Because it felt like it. It felt like Capella went out there, dominated Bam on the glass. Everybody else on the Heat is 6'5" and under. It felt like last night. They look tiny compared to a Hawks team that is not very big. But like John Collins has size, Sadiq Bey has size, Johnson has size, Okongwu has size, and they just all went to the glass every single time. They basically, I mean, the Heat aren't known as a rebounding team, but they are certainly an effort and physicality team. And the Hawks had more effort, more physicality, and timely shot making, I thought, as well. Like, Murray really struggled in the first half. He went 2 for 9, but 5 for 7 in the second half. And like you're saying, Skeets, every time the Hawks needed an answer, I kind of felt like it was Murray. It would get down to like 7 or 8 points. He had a couple of little backbreakers just floating in the lane, using his length to shoot over the top of the Heat. If Kyle Lowry doesn't play the best game of his season, this is an easy blowout win for the Hawks.
Yeah, Lowry, you're right. Kept them in it in the first half, continued his incredible play in the second half. It was weird. We had Conley and Lowry dominating last night, both in losses. But Atlanta out-rebounded Miami 63-39, 22-6 on the offensive glass. That is a huge number, 26-6 in second chance points. That was the game. Jim Jackson on the call. Some guys just wanted a little bit more. It was Capella. I thought the Heat came into this game too. Somebody told them, hey, the play-in tournament, it's not the playoffs. And they're like, oh, all right, well, this is just like a normal game in February. We'll come out with that energy. They were brutal.
Terrible first half.
Like live ball turnovers, stepping out of bounds, giving up obviously offensive rebounds, like just no fight. And they were just like, they had like they were holding themselves like this is a meaningless game and don't worry, we'll get back into it. Now they did, but it still came back to bite them in the ass. And Jimmy Butler was brutal in this game. How many bunnies did he miss?
He was terrible. And he was terrible shooting layups.
He was missing layups by a mile. He was bricking layups. Mm-hmm. Like, they were going on the other side of the rim. Credit to, like, Okongwu, and obviously Capella, like, did block the crap out of him a couple times. But, like, he was just missing so many that you get used to Jimmy Butler. Even on ones where Jimmy gets fouled, like, he draws the contact, and then it's usually an and one because it's a layup. He was missing those ones even, and those don't even show up in the box score as a shot. And then Bam, too. I thought he had a couple where it's like, what are they doing? Right around the rim. Like, so they're 2-star players. I mean, they shit the bed. I thought they were both terrible.
Yeah, totally. I thought Bam was generally just not as involved in the offense as he should have been. One of the best ways the Heat can generate offense, I feel like, is Bam grabbing a rebound and bringing it back up off the court, or bringing it up off in transition. But as we talked about, the Heat weren't rebounding, so that wasn't really an option for them. And then Butler just could not get it going inside at all. He did get 11 free throws. He was grifting, certainly at some points, maybe to his detriment, trying to draw fouls more so than necessarily finish. But the Hawks dominated the interior, and that's usually where you would assume that the Heat had the advantage.
Yeah, unfortunately with Bam, it happens where he doesn't force the action throughout his playoff and play-in career now, I guess. He should have just been watching Kyle Lowry. Lowry was forcing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And he saved them multiple. It was down. They were down 20 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and he made it digestible. He scored 7 in the last 2 minutes of play because he was just doing Kyle Lowry things, making something happen, going to the rim, throwing his body around, getting a foul, then he hit a 3 and another tough layup. They're down 15, and it was a game. And then, Tyler Hero doing his thing to start the third, and you'd think, all right, we just got to get to Jimmy time, and that never came because it was an absolute blowout win for the Atlanta Hawks. You're totally right about the Heat and the way they walked in, their disposition walking into this arena. Toronto fans, Pelicans fans tonight should have been watching. Hope they were watching last night, because I always comment on the Heat fans. They always come back at me, but they were non-existent in the first half. They thought they were going to show up in the second half, and too little, too late, obviously. And look, the rebounding thing is real. They went and got Kevin Love as their buyout guy, and they started him at the 4 because they were desperate. He obviously came off the bench in this one. They got Cody Zeller as well because they were desperate. They never replaced PJ Tucker's grit. They never replaced their lack of size in the end. And so rebounding was a problem. Scoring obviously was a problem. They're lucky to get 33 from Kyle Lowry.
Totally.
But Sadiq Bey and the Hawks bench, wow.
Their reserves,
that was awesome.
Bey, Bogdanovich, Okongwu, and Jalen Johnson, who had an awesome putback dunk in this one. 53 points for those guys. It felt like watching this game at times like 7 of the 8 or 8 of the 9 best players in the game were Atlanta Hawks players. It was like Lowry. Who else played good for the Heat?
That's it.
That's
I
honestly
thought Lowry
it.
played well.
Yeah.
Other guys had moments. Hero had a moment at the beginning of the second half, and that's kind of like, it seemed to me that maybe the tide was going to turn for the Heat because their first half, it looked like they just met each other. And the second half, they came out, all right, we're fired up. We're playing a little bit here. Hero was attacking Trae Young in 3 straight possessions. Jim Jackson hung Ian Eagle out to dry on a question. He turned it into a rhetorical question. Didn't give Eagle a chance to answer, which was very funny. But that was basically it. Hero did have a good game. I guess he probably played the best of the starters, at least for Miami, but it didn't feel like he had a huge impact on the game.
No.
Just the Hawks doing all those little things, too. I love early in this game, there was DeJounte Murray busting his ass to front Bam, so they couldn't even go to him and get him a pass inside. That's a lot of height that Bam has on him. He was just working his ass off to stay in front of him as it rotated. Okongwu blocking Bam at the apex there to get that jump ball. That was special. And then John Collins, it was late in the game where it was still a game. He had that offensive rebound where he was then falling out of bounds, and John Collins made an incredible bounce pass. I think it was to Bey, cutting inside there.
Oh yeah,
and it was just I want to make this very clear. Credit to the Hawks and how they rebounded, especially Capella, a monster. It was one of those weird games where the ball just always bounced to the Hawks, and it was got to be frustrating. You've played in games like that where you're just like, what the hell? There was one play where it was a turnover, but it ricocheted to a Hawks player for a dunk, and it was the ball just found its way. Now you got to go make that. I get that, the 50-50 balls, but sometimes the ball does have a little bit of mind of its own, and it just was always going to Atlanta in this game.
Yeah, you're getting beat when the Hawks generate 2 wide open 3-point looks, one of them for Bogdan Bogdanovich. They miss both of them, but somehow it ends up with a Bogdan dunk down the middle of the lane. Come on, that guy's probably got 5 dunks this season. He's getting one in a half-court setting. It just was not good for the Heat. They probably thought we can turn it on at any time, and they could not turn it on at all last night.
So the Hawks improved to 3-0 all time in play-in tournament games. People are calling it the Trae-in tournament. Nobody's calling it that. But he did have a good game. I don't want to gloss over it. You slipped it in right at the beginning. I thought he did. He just didn't force things.
Absolutely.
They were getting great 3-point looks early in this game. He had his floater going and went to it a couple times, especially going right. That was a well, orchestrated game from a point guard, I thought, in Trae Young. He didn't need to go for 35 and gun a bunch of threes.
He was the point guard. Right. I totally agree. And if they lost, we'd be looking at his stat line and say 1 of 8 from 3. Come on, Trae. Mm-hmm. But he played a good floor game, and it's odd to see when you look up and down the Hawks stat line that they didn't shoot the ball all that well from 3. They missed a friggin' bunch of free throws. They shot 59% from the free throw line and still got it done because they were far bigger than the Heat. So I think they go back into the locker room and say, first, we played our asses off, but we can shoot a heck of a lot better going into the series against the Celtics. There's some resemblance to that 21 playoff run where everybody just doing their job and not forcing it. Felt good watching this Hawks team that they can just take the first 70 games off of a season and then just turn it on the last dozen.
Jimmy Butler quoted after the game saying, "Come Friday, we have to play the legit exact opposite of how we played tonight."
He guaranteed a win.
Sorry, Kyle Lowry, you got to have 7 points, man. Exact opposite.
He probably will.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. I am a little terrified after watching last night's game. I'm like, oh, whoever wins tonight between the Bulls and Raptors, I'm like, oh God. Jimmy and Bam will likely bounce back after the brutal performance, but maybe we continue to overvaluate this team. They struggle to score. Outside of Lowry hitting 6 threes, they hit 5 the rest of the team combined. They can't hit threes, which is a huge issue in today's game. But good win from the Hawks. They will go to Boston. I should be there for game 2. I'm headed to Boston to run the marathon on Monday. Game 1 on Saturday. You got to assume game 2 is either Monday night or Tuesday night, right?
Could be Wednesday night with some weird stuff.
Oh, I hope.
No, it's on Saturday.
That would be a big gap.
You should be good.
Yeah.
Does the marathon end in the Celtics Arena? Just take your seat.
No. That's we'll see. Hopefully I can get out there. Okay, so tonight's playing games. Let's just make this quick. Bulls Raptors is the first one, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're on ESPN tonight, and you can join us on playback because we got the No Dunks Bowl. Oh my God, I can't believe we're going to be doing this. Living and dying with every possession. Trey Kirby's Bulls versus
it's game time.
Our Toronto Raptors. Look at Trey Kirby's got a jersey on underneath the shooting shirt.
The quest for number 7 starts tonight. You're like Brent Barry right here.
Oh man.
Going for number 7.
All right, well.
Number 7, baby.
That's a nice inside joke right there.
Here's the rule.
Find the camera, Brent. Find it.
We got to wear our Raptors jerseys tonight on playback.
I'm cool with that.
Okay, there you go.
Do I have a warm-up? I did have an. I used to have the classic '95 Oliver Miller warm up. Yeah. Well, I have the warm up jacket too. I gave that one to our buddy Ken because it was a little bit big for me, but I have the jacket.
Okay. I
can derobe.
Guys, we'll be in
like
full gear tonight on playback. So join us at 7 p.m. Eastern. The link is in the show notes. What's your one thing you're looking for in tonight's playing game between the Raps?
First team to 90.
Okay.
First team to 90, I think, wins this game. These are like 2 of the best defenses in the league since the All-Star break, since Pirtle showed up for the Raptors, since Patrick Beverley showed up for the Bulls. But man, this is maybe going to be one of the ugliest games that matters because neither of these teams can score. They're both in the bottom 5 in 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
So it's maybe going to come down to one player getting hot for either team. Kobe White could do it for the Bulls. Gary Trent Jr. could do it for the Raptors. If a team has a player hit 5 threes, they're probably going to win this one. A big matchup to watch, I do think, will be seeing how DeMar DeRozan attacks likely OG Anunoby. OG has kind of locked him up. So far in the season series, I think DeRozan's only averaging 14 points a game or something like that, only 4 assists.
Now, Levine didn't play in some of those games.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Levine has been straight up balling in the year 2023. He's putting up like 27 a game, 50, 40, 90. But he didn't have a great playoffs last year. He was dealing with a knee injury, so I think that both Levine and Vucevic are going to get looks because the Raptors, no doubt, are going to try and stop DeMar DeRozan, force somebody else to beat him. That means Vuce is going to be taking a lot of wide open threes from the top of the key. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. And Levine it'd be nice to see a heater from him as well. But, yeah, I don't know. I was dying laughing. I saw the predictions from Darnell Mayberry and Eric Koreen at The Athletic. They have been, like us, forced to watch these teams play every single game of their season. So, of course, Darnell is picking the Raptors to win and Eric is picking the Bulls to win because they're like, there's no way the team I watch is going to be consistent enough to win this one tonight.
It's true.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a coin flipper. Don't bet, but as we've said, the over-under line is 212.5, which doesn't sound like a lot in today's NBA. It's 107, 105, and you're there, baby.
Yeah.
But as Trey said, it feels like it's going to be low scoring. Usually in the play-in tournament, there's one game. It's hard to watch. So far, we haven't got that yet.
Really?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Wolves. It's been worse.
At least.
Yeah, there's a Pacers Wizards game. That's what it usually is. In my recollection, it could be this one.
Okay,
but it'll be fun for us.
We'll be on playback 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, that link is in the show notes. The second game tonight is Thunder Pelicans at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Probably a little bit later than that on ESPN. The winner advances to face the Wolves in the final play-in game for that number 8 seed. What are your takes on this one, Tass, heading into it?
It feels like the Pelicans should absolutely roll to this victory with the way they've been playing versus the way the Thunder have been playing. The Pels have been playing so well, and the Thunder don't look like that team. That was awesome throughout the first 3 quarters of the season. Brandon Ingram is going to be the difference, it feels like. And I know Shea will step up, but fourth quarter Brandon Ingram is a real thing, and he's been fantastic. He has been the superstar between these two teams in terms of the way that they've been playing recently. So, just on that, I think that's a fair way to evaluate it. I think the Pels should walk away with this one.
I have no feel of this game. I have no clue who's winning this game tonight. You're nodding away.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's like either team could have the best player on the floor and still lose. I think that's just what happened with the Pelicans against the Timberwolves, right? Brandon Ingram went for 42.
Yep.
They ended up blowing it in the second half of that game. But man, he has been on fire lately. 27, 7, and 6 the last month. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is gonna make an All-NBA team. Probably finish top 8 in MVP balloting, I would imagine. My X factor, Jonas Valanciunas. I think he'll have a 20 rebound game, much like Clint Capella.
Whoa.
OKC is not a very good rebounding
super
team.
tiny.
They're tiny, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And Valanciunas has been in every play-in tournament. He knows how to show up when the lights are the somewhat brightest. So I'm expecting a big game from Jonas inside.
All right, well, those 2 games on tonight, Bulls Raps and Pelicans Thunder. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to look at 2 of the Eastern Conference playoff matchups and hit them with our predictions. Don't go anywhere.
It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a drink mix to step 2. Athletic Greens is back! If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, or a stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you gotta check out Athletic Greens. Feels like just yesterday that Tass was telling us how much he hates swallowing horse pills because of his tiny throat. But with Athletic Greens, you can get rid of all that nonsense. Because with Athletic Greens, you'll actually enjoy getting your daily vitamins. With 1 delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging.
Nice.
It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat gluten-free, keto, paleo, vegan, or dairy-free. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you do every single day to take great care of yourself. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/nodunks. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Indochino is a one-stop shop for looking and feeling good. A one-stop shop where you can get one look for all your events as well. That's how I like to do it, the lazy man's way of shopping. Indochino's looks, they're kind of like a 5-tool athlete. One finely tuned, fully customizable outfit that's always ready to perform in any game or event. Order it online, like I did, using their slick online platform. Wear it to your friend's wedding, like I did. Customize every detail on your suit, shirt, dinner jacket, and more in a range of colors from black or gray to burgundy or olive to a classic Hemsworth navy, like I did. I hemsed it. And if you have to wear a tuxedo first, I'm sorry someone is forcing you to do that. Or maybe you're forcing yourself. I don't know. Either way, why not buy one from Indochino? A custom tux you can own starting at $579. But create a suit for far less than that. A suit that fits you, that represents you, without a luxury price tag. RSVP knowing you've got the perfect look all wedding season long from Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code NODUNKS to get 10% off any purchase of $3.99 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com, promo code NODUNKS.
All right, back here in the Classic Factory. Love to see the big numbers of people coming out for the live show here on YouTube. But the likes don't make sense with the number of people here. The math ain't mathin'. Hit the like button if you're joining us live and make sure you subscribe. Let's get into some Eastern Conference playoff previews. For the second time in the past 4 years, the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets will face off in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Game 1 is scheduled for Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Wells Fargo Center in South Philly. What's one thing you're going to be watching in this series?
This is not an exciting series to me.
No?
This to me is the least interesting first round series, non-play-in involved division. Because I think this one's going to be a blowout. I don't think that the Nets have anybody that will be able to handle Joel Embiid. So I guess one thing to watch is his free throw attempts. Because the Nets are actually pretty good at not fouling, but Embiid goes to the line all the time. I assume he's going to live at the line, putting up 30-something per game. He should have some monster lines in this one. So I guess the one thing I'm really watching is to see what James Harden looks like for the 76ers. He sat out 7 of the team's last 13 games with his Achilles problem. I think they can win this series even if Harden is getting back up to speed. It's more of a long-term thing, seeing what Harden's going to look like because they're going to need him at his peak for round 2. But I don't know. It's hard for me to convince myself of the Nets doing anything besides stealing one game after they're down 3-0.
Yeah, as good a story as the Nets have been, and as much as it is fun to watch them galvanize themselves after the whole thing that they've gone through, and they've got such likable guys. The problem is the best player on the other team has no matchup on this one. Even though Nick Claxton has been really good, solid season, the Sixers are going to go to Embiid over and over and over again, and it's just going to be a struggle bus for Nick Claxton to deal with him. They basically have to commit to getting the ball out of Embiid's hands or not allowing him to catch it at all. There's been some templates recently by other teams playing the Sixers, playing zone to take away Embiid from the nail or take away the pocket passes from James Harden. Just basically don't allow them to go to Embiid. And that's the good thing if you're playing the Sixers and Doc Rivers. You know they're just going to get Embiid the ball around the free throw line. It's basically don't let him catch it because it's Nick Claxton, who's just far lighter than Joel Embiid. He's going to be able to push off and score. Or Day'Ron Sharpe is their backup center. He's going to be he's too young to be able to handle Embiid, and Embiid's just a freaking MVP. So they don't have the personnel. Mm-hmm. They haven't had the personnel in years past, and they weren't ready for this. So that's obviously the biggest issue. Possession after possession after possession. That's what the Sixers do. So it's going to be tough.
Here's one thing to watch from the Nets side of things. Hat tip to Schumann out there in his series preview. The Nets, their three-point rate, it sort of skyrocketed after they traded Kyrie and KD. Went from 37.6 to 43.7%. That's the 5th highest in the league after they made those moves. So I think that's their best chance to pull off an insane upset here. Just gun away. Because you're going to lose the battle at the free throw line because you're taking on Embiid and Harden. You're going to lose the battle inside the arc because of Embiid. So you got to get that rate up above 50% in this series from deep. And after the deadline, when Brooklyn hit 15 or more threes, they were 9-1. When they didn't, they were 4-14. Could Vaughn, and this speaks to what you said about how do they even guard Joel Embiid because of the personnel, will he go crazy small? Will he just be let's just get 5 shooters out there and stretch it as much as possible? I mean, Claxton's going to play, don't get me wrong, but to help their chances, to help the math, just attempt a lot of threes and hope you hit those 15, 16, 17 threes in a game to give yourself a chance.
I don't think so. I think they're going to try and be the Celtics and just use their length because they are long. Mm-hmm. And
Claxton had one good game against Embiid, actually, too. He had one of his best offensive games of the season. Yeah, he matched him okay.
As far as points, points to points. Yeah. I think they try and use Claxton's length. Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith are really, really good defenders, and then you throw a Royce O'Neal out there. Yeah, they're gonna Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith. They're probably gonna start on Harden and Tyrese Maxey respectively, and they're gonna do a pretty damn good job on those two guys. Then they have to recover and just get arms in front of Joel Embiid, as well as Nick Claxton. So I think that's the game plan. They do have hope because their defenders are so good and so committed to the task at hand. But 1-on-1, it ain't gonna work. I don't think.
Let's talk X factors. Who you got circled?
X factors for this? That's tough. Like, what's an X factor? Mikal Bridges going off, scoring a 40-point game? Like, that's the X factor to me, is if the Nets can win the turnover battle and hit a bunch of threes. That's the only possible upset in this, and that would be a one-game thing to me. I suppose Spencer Dinwiddie.
That's who I have.
Could be a bit of an X factor here. I can foresee the Nets trying to attack with Dinwiddie isolating on Maxey, maybe. Maxey's probably the smallest, worst defender in the starting lineup for the Sixers, so put him in as many actions as you possibly can and try and generate open threes and force turnovers and run as much as you possibly can. That's the recipe for the Nets stealing a win. But none of that, to me, seems like a sustainable thing that will last throughout a series.
Yeah, for the Nets' sake, Embiid is going to probably score a lot, and they just got to hope that the Bridges and Dorian Finney-Smith limit Harden and Tyrese Maxey, and then maybe the math, as you said, because your X factor here is Spencer Dinwiddie, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody.
He's so streaky.
It's got to be one of those. It's got to be. Seth Curry can maybe play some more minutes in this game, in this series.
Unleash Cam Thomas. Like, it could be one of these.
Yeah.
Like, they need a bunch of threes. They need one of these guys to catch fire. Cam, Seth, Dinwiddie.
Cam's rolling right now. He had a 40-point game.
Which one?
It's true. Look, this is a tough matchup for the Nets.
They wouldn't even mention Cam Thomas. He'll be there.
Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson. Why did I say Cam Thomas?
Well, Cam Thomas plays.
Yeah. I got so many Thomases, so many Johnsons, so many Cams.
Okay, let's just make this quick then. What's your prediction? This is a pathetic preview. I mean, we're just so down on the Nets here. This is embarrassing. What do you got?
They've been pretty bad, for the second half of the season.
Yeah.
They've been 11-13. They only win if they hit, what'd you say, 15 threes?
Basically.
That's basically the only time they win. So I think that will happen at least once. But give me the Sixers in 5. Another X factor, as the stream team is saying, is like Joel Embiid's face bones. Like him getting hurt.
Can he stay healthy?
That gives that would give the Nets a chance. Yeah. Yeah. Eat high quality foods this week. No cheesesteaks.
Yeah, if he's backpedaling on a fast break from another player, he's not going to put his face into an elbow like he did for Pascal Siakam. Just no freak accidents. Yeah, we all want to see Joel Embiid healthy for an entire run. It is odd that you say the Nets have been 11-13 over the last 24 games. Just shows how bad the Heat were in the entire season, that they couldn't steal the sixth seed.
Very true.
It's been mediocre. Mikal Bridges is obviously going to be exciting as a number one guy to see what he can do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, do they have the firepower behind him? And the size is such a freaking problem. They're going to take one. This team fights too hard. I'll say Sixers in 5.
I got to agree with you guys. I also have Philly in 5. I like the Nets' chances to win one game at least. But this Philadelphia team, again, this is Schumann with this stat. They are the third seed in 20 years that rank in the top 8 on both sides of the ball. So this is a very, very good third seed. I mean, this is really good when you're top 10 on both sides of the ball. They're top 8 offensively and defensively. And here's a look at the numbers as we wrap this one up. Okay.
They played 4 years ago, as you said.
Yeah.
Forgot. I guess that was the Karis LeVert series, if I'm remembering correctly.
Did it also end Philly in 5?
He was awesome. Yeah, it was Philly in 5.
All right, let's hear from everybody out there. What's your prediction for the Sixers-Nets first-round series, which starts this weekend? Let us know in the comments below. Let's move over to the other Eastern Conference series. The Cleveland Cavaliers will host the New York Knicks in the first round of the 23 NBA playoffs. The Cavs continue to build on their previous success with this young core. They also have one of the league's best defense. You got Donovan Mitchell now in the mix. While the Knicks are back in the postseason after a disappointing 21-22 season. We can throw up the stats if we have that board right now. There it is. Yeah, the best defense, I should have said, in the league for the Cavaliers when it comes to defensive rating. And the Knicks, no slouch on the offensive side of the ball. A little defense versus offense here. Tass, what are you watching for in this highly anticipated first-round series?
Oh, we got a series, baby. It is a coin flip. Let's start from the Knicks side, even though I am the Cavs supporter. I want to see what Jalen Brunson can do as the primary ball handler in the postseason. I think, even though the Cavs are an incredible defense, they take away the three-point line, they take away the rim, Jalen can work in the mid-range, and I want to see what he can do there because the Cavs will allow those shots. That's what happens in playoff basketball, and Brunson is just so good and calm and cool at doing that. Last year in the postseason, when he was with the Mavs, Luka was out to start the series. He had 3 really good games against the Utah Jazz. He had a 41 in there. You could say he averaged 32. Now the numbers, obviously, definitely pumped up by that 41-point performance. But he had 3 games over 20 points between 20 and 41, and I think he can be that even against a really good Cavs defense. That's the first thing I'm watching. He's got to be big, and then that should trickle down to Julius Randle. As Randle, yes, hasn't had a good series in the postseason, really. I mean, as a premier guy, he had that bad series 2 years ago against the Knicks. Against the Hawks in that 5-game series. The mid-range should be open for him, too. And that's where he operates. And if Brunson is taking the pressure off him, trickles down to Quentin Grimes, who has been absolutely balling recently as a 3-point shooter, taking 10 threes a game, shooting 48% over his last 9. I don't like RJ Barrett's chances if we're going all the way down the offensive keys here against a Cleveland Cavaliers team that defends the rim so freaking well. It doesn't really mesh with RJ's chances. But so those other guys, I think, can flourish against a very, very, very good Cavs defense.
What are you watching, TK?
I'm interested to see if Julius Randle plays and how he looks. The guy hasn't played in 2 weeks. Fred Katz reported yesterday that Randle did some of practice yesterday. Tom Thibodeau said he's doing some running, shooting, scripting, that sort of thing. I guess there are script writers in the NBA, but they're the players. It's kind of a surprise to me. But they're going to need him, and he's going to need to be up to speed pretty quickly because I assume he's going to be guarded by Evan Mobley, which is a tall task for Randle. Yeah. He's taken a lot more threes this year, which I think has certainly helped his efficiency. He's going to have to score over Mobley because Jared Allen is going to be waiting inside there. I also think clutch time is going to be super interesting here. The Knicks can put a lot more shooting on the floor, so maybe things open up in the mid-range for Brunson, like you're saying, Tass. But I think both teams really struggle in clutch situations, and it just comes down to who's going to be hotter in the fourth quarters here. Is it going to be Brunson or is it going to be Mitchell? They can both get to the line, they can both get hot, but both teams can go through major droughts offensively in the clutch. So Randle, health would be huge here to give the Knicks a second option because, at least Darius Garland is out there as well with Donovan Mitchell. Garland has really struggled in the clutch this year. It feels like it's going to be on Mitchell's shoulders mostly, but you'd rather have a second guy alongside you than not.
And we could have some clutch games if the regular season carries over to the playoffs. 3 of their 4 regular season meetings between these two teams were within 5 points in the last 5 minutes, and the Knicks took 2 of those 3. So we probably will get some other close games. I'm very excited for the Brunson versus Mitchell battle. Not only from the narrative perspective, the idea, Donovan, the New York kid, was he going to go to New York? Goes to Cleveland. They get Brunson. They're happy about that. They have the history from last year's playoffs where Brunson was cooking Mitchell off the bounce at times in that series. He had a great series, 25 assists to 2 turnovers in that series too. That's unbelievable. But the last time we saw these guys in the regular season, they went for combined 90. So we're going to have some monster Mitchell and Brunson games here, I think. So very excited for that. What about an X factor in this series? Get us started, Tass.
It is a little too big of a name to be an X factor, I guess, but Darius Garland can be huge for this Cavs team. He's had performances throughout this season where Donovan Mitchell just says, hey, it's your turn. But also when Mitchell goes to the bench, Garland just turns it on. And Quentin Grimes will get a lot of minutes on him. And that's going to be difficult for Darius Garland. But the Cavs haven't found their MO when it comes to clutch time. They just haven't found that balance throughout the entire year. It's really weird to say that because Donovan Mitchell can take over, but Garland hasn't found his perfect self, even though he's a great 3-point shooter, their best 3-point shooter. He can take over, but they haven't found the yin and the yang, really. They haven't been perfect, him and Donovan Mitchell. So he could be sort of non-existent at times. But he can be a freaking all-star. Yeah. He's had a 50-point game this season. And so I think he's that sort of barometer. Will they need all of his points? I don't know. Trey brings up a good point about Mobley stopping Julius Randle. I think that's going to be a tough matchup for Julius Randle if he's not feeling the flow. And will the Knicks have enough points? I don't know. Clutch time is going to be interesting if it comes down to that. But DG, Darius Garland, DG the PG's a lame nickname, but I'm going to be paying attention to him a lot because he could be fantastic. Him and Mobley, combined as the sort of the next era here of the Cavs. It's time. It's time to take that step.
Yeah, Randall not only has this ankle injury, but you slipped it in there. Like, he's coming off his last playoff series versus the Hawks where he shot like under 30%.
It was bad.
And it was bad. Like, he was like 19 shots a game to get to 18 points per game in that series. So he's got, he wants to obviously bounce back from that, but he's coming in with this bum ankle, and we don't even know sort of his status in this. And then Mobley on him. One of the guys in the running for Defensive Player of the Year against a great defensive team in Cleveland. So that's going to be tough. What about you for an X Factor?
I think Mitchell Robinson versus Jared Allen is the swing matchup in this series. Mitchell Robinson led the league in offensive rebound rate. He's terror on the glass in Cleveland since the All-Star break, 29th in defensive rebounding rate, despite the fact that they played 2 7-footers. So I think that's going to be definitely a matchup to watch. Like, whoever is winning the battle between Mitchell Robinson and Jared Allen is getting more possessions for their teams, which then allows them to be more efficient offensively. And that's probably the way it's going to go. So I think Jared Allen can do a good job on Mitchell Robinson. Obviously, Allen is an incredible interior defender, but Robinson is just nonstop on the glass. And if he's able to generate more possessions, that means the Knicks don't have to shoot quite as well.
Yeah.
So that's a big one for me.
Yeah, I've got that in my notes as well. Even Hartenstein, if he comes in as the backup center, he's great on the offensive glass. Josh Hart as a wing is a phenomenal offensive rebounder. And despite the Cavs having the best defense, that is the one area that they sort of stink at.
Yep.
Like, they're great at creating turnovers. They're great at protecting the rim, limiting threes, but like ending possessions is where they struggle. So can the Knicks take advantage of that? And that's been a big part of their great offense. They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. So those more possessions will possibly help. I got Mitchell Robinson too, and I've talked about him all season long. Like, he is vital to this Knicks and their success. Let's get to predictions. Tough, man. Cavs-Knicks. A lot of us were saying this one feels like a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Which squad you going with? Cleveland because they're at home, or the Knicks?
I lean Cavs. I'll give the Knicks their due respect and give it 7 games, but I do think Donovan Mitchell has a bounce back playoff performance. He was very bad last year by his standards in that one series against the Dallas Mavericks. Shot under 40%, shot 20% from 3 for him. His worst playoff performance, and he is a playoff performer. I think he is a big game performer. We kind of skipped over that, talking about all the supplemental players for the Cavs, but this dude should be their guy at the end of games to not only just at the end of games take over, but just take the pressure off the young Cavs in Garland and Mobley in their first playoff series. I believe in him to bounce back, and I think the Knicks have question marks with their injuries. Jared Allen I don't think he's 100% for the Cavs either, but I believe in Donovan Mitchell to bounce back. It feels storybook-esque. It feels like he will bounce back after that whole Utah thing went sour. Just wasn't right last year. I think he'll be right this year.
So Cavs in 7 is where you're going?
Yep.
What about you, Trey?
I think I'm on the same pathway as Tass here. This one, it's crazy. This feels like the tightest series and the series that we've been previewing the most because it feels like they've been locked into 4-5 for such a long time. Now it's finally here. Definitely doesn't feel like the Knicks are an offense-first team, but they definitely are. Mm-hmm. I've seen Tom Thibodeau teams struggle going from an incredible regular season to turning it up a notch in the playoffs. That doesn't always happen. So I think with the Cavs having home court, with questions about Randall's health coming into the series, I got to go Cavs in 7 as well.
Oh, man, I'm with you guys. We're going to see 7-7-7s.
Everybody wants it, yeah.
I know, like, the Randall part, is a
big.
huge question mark. Like, for them to win the series, he has to not only play, but has to play phenomenally. If he's got a bad ankle, and that sucks. But the home court advantage, that's enough for me, because I think it will go 7. So anything could happen, obviously, in a final game, but I'm also ultimately going to go Cleveland in 7 as well. What do you guys say? Where are the Knicks fans at? Let's hear it. If they're going to win, are they going to go in and do it in Cleveland in Game 7? Feels like if the Knicks win the series, it will be in 6 to me, but I think Cleveland's got this one.
Cavs are a great home team.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. They do it in a funny way. They got to 31-10, but they always come back. They always let the other team take a lead, and then, we'll do it now. So, Knicks can steal some games.
Let's hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments below. Cavs-Knicks, how many games, who you got as a winner? One more break. When we come back, tweet of the night. Don't go anywhere. When it comes to saving money as a small business owner, every little bit helps. And no dunks, we speak from experience because we're a small business, a small classic business. And while we don't have to ship a lot, when we do, we turn to ShipStation because it gives us access to discounts of up to 84% off USPS and UPS rates. That's more money for mics, lights, and that fantastic poopery toilet spray. TMI? Please. One bathroom here in the factory for a bunch of dudes? ShipStation helps benefit our shit station. That's a win-win. The best thing about ShipStation is all of your shipping is handled in a single dashboard. They effortlessly integrate everywhere you sell online, including Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and more. You manage every order from one simple dashboard, automate routine shipping tasks, print shipping labels, and easily compare rates and delivery times to optimize every shipment. ShipStation, more efficient than the Joker, baby. And with enterprise solutions that make warehouse optimization easy, ShipStation scales when you do. So worry less about the bottom line when you save money with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use the code NODUNKS today to sign up for your free 60-day trial. 60 days. That's ShipStation.com, code NODUNKS. All right, back in the factory. Time for Tweet of the Night. Yeah.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Tweet of the night comes from a heck of a Twitter handle. Bully. B-U-L-L-Y.
Wow,
That's pretty good.
hell of a handle.
Yeah, first tweet comes from Bully. That tweet, I took a vacation about a month ago and have no photos of it other than the one night I ate an edible and paid $65 to get into an illusions museum. An illusions museum. That's the key here.
Yeah.
That I thought would be full of crazy optical illusions, but instead it was just this, if you're following along on YouTube. So this optical illusion where there's a sort of a fat head kind of thing of Dwayne Wade on a wall, and there's a rim as well. And so Dwayne Wade is actually like, quote unquote, blocking a shot. And you, as the visitor to this illusions museum, can go up and do something to the shot or whatever, and you take it.
Is it on the ground, though?
Yeah, the person is on the ground. That's why it's an illusion.
Yeah, you said wall. I guess it's more...
No, it's like a fat head on a wall. I just mean like...
I got
ground to wall. It's
Yeah.
much like the Raptors baseline logo back in the day.
Yeah, right. What
That's the
I love
illusion.
that second photo so much.
And so Bully went into this museum, saw Wade shooting this ball, and is pretending to block a shot, and then great pose, sort of a squat pose, just pointing to a basketball in the second one. Now, that brings us to our question, and really the tweet of the night from David Sun. How much would you pay to get an illusionary pic of shooting over Dwayne Wade? Because this person paid $65 to sort of...
But they had no idea what they were going into.
Yeah, now we know, because Bully did this for us.
All right.
I think Bully also went into this museum and pretended to be eaten by a shark or an alligator or something.
Yeah. There's
It's like these,
exhibits.
these
a lot of really cool
photo ops.
It looks like crap.
Hold on,
They look so bad.
The one on the ledge, is that cool?
You want me to cast it here? You want to see what the rest
we're
of these
casting,
look like?
baby.
Why not?
Well, we got to get Trey Kirby in his full Bulls attire into this game.
Block Dwayne Wade,
There's
yeah.
actually like a Pizzeria Uno or OTP that has a Bulls bathroom that I've been in
Pizzeria.
before. I could go there and pose or something like that.
Pizzeria,
On
no,
edibles.
I'm OTP.
I mean, Pizzeria Uno on edibles. You're living the life. It's worth $65. This museum, I would say $20 max, but with inflation, I guess $30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot for that crappy looking museum.
It looks
or whatever the hell
terrible,
it's called. 65? I'm with you. $29.99, sure. Even that feels like a lot once you get in there. You're like, what? But are they taking the photos for you? You know, is that part of a package deal? Like I pay my $65 and then I go into like these weird rooms and then you take the photos for me? Or was that, she said it was by herself, right?
Yes, she said it was by herself.
Yeah, so I guess so.
You get somebody to take the picture?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe,
That's
the
cool.
photos
That's
come
very
with
cool.
it, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if the photos go with it. Well, I think $30 for an Instagram factory. I mean, that's essentially what this is. You go hang out and take some photos. That's fine. $30.
But I'm saying I don't think you take the photo. I think that's a part of the $65 fee. If we are to believe this person that was on edibles, that they went by themselves, they didn't take those photos.
Yeah, but
They're all set up. You can tell.
yeah, but you think
Yeah,
that
I mean, they have to be.
Yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
get the perfect angle.
you'd think that there'd be a little bit more to the photo than if it was actually done by the place. But maybe it's just a subpar
Why
place.
would you think that after seeing the drawings on the walls and floors? I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Like
just
people calling Dwayne Wade Julius Wade because it looks like he has Julius Randle's face instead of Dwayne Wade's because they made him look incredibly old in these photos. Face app Dwayne Wade.
Do we know where this place is? We could definitely do a little road trip.
Bully is in Nashville, Tennessee. It ain't too far away.
We're popping some edibles and jumping in the car.
Illusions Museum, Tennessee.
that's
Good
Dwayne
one.
Wade. That's a combo. You know, the face combos we do of Dwayne Wade and Steve Francis. I think
That's who it
actually,
is?
yeah, it's got a little old Steve to it.
Gatlinburg.
And Matisse Thybul is
Where's
out there.
that?
Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
All right, we could
It
drive.
ain't too far. But according to TripAdvisor, I'm looking at 1.5 stars.
Well, maybe this person should have checked.
Not great.
Wow. All right, road trip. Summer road trip. We're
Come on.
going.
I gotta find that.
On an edible though,
Pizzeria,
a good edible trip. She probably had a good time. I think she had a $65 worth of fun.
Probably so. Oh, they're opening one in Atlanta. It's exciting. MOIAtlanta.com.
I like the Scrooge McDuck one.
Oh, we're going to this. We are
She's-
going to this.
She's midair. Yeah, you're probably right, Skates. They probably took this photo because she's not on the ground here. Somebody had to do a nice, good snap.
Now I feel like I'm tripping balls. I'm like trying to figure out. Is that the corner of the room there? In the yeah.
It's painted.
Okay.
Yeah,
So she's
the
just
seam. She's jumping like 8 inches in the air, maybe.
Yeah, she's barely jumping.
Okay, so here's the alligator
Now,
one.
this one's good.
This
Yeah.
one's good.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
one's worth the big bucks.
Yeah, that's true.
Looks like you're getting eaten by an alligator. Ow. How did they do it?
All right, let's call it there. Jeez.
I can't believe they're getting one in Atlanta.
Guys, join us tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on Playback. Hit that link in the show notes. We'll be watching all together the incredible Bulls-Raptors game. Trey was holding up his 7, which I like to pretend is combined three-pointers made by the two teams tonight. All right? That's what it really stands for. But we'll see you tonight at 7 for that game. And then we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern here from the Classic Factory to break down tonight's games, look ahead to Friday's play-in games, and recap those 2-7 matchups in both conferences, the Grizzlies, Lakers, and the Celtics, Hawks. So busy podcast coming at you tomorrow. But enjoy the games tonight. Hopefully see you there. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, we'll see you later, alligator. We'll also see you at Illusions Museum.
In Nashville or Tennessee or Atlanta?
Atlanta, I think.
Okay, great. Brace the day, people.